And we're back. How are you, mate? Look at the big smile.
It's just so funny. I just sat there in silence, being like, well, I hope it's working.
We'll soon find out from the chat, I'm sure. Hopefully, someone will put in and say, boys, don't worry. It's up and running. Just so everyone knows, we have gone fully professional now. We are up leveling the game. So the FOKLZ podcast will be back, obviously, every week, but in even higher definition now. So, God, look at this. Isn't it great? Mate, how are you after this week? Come on, right, talk me through your week, because let's be honest, you might have seen a little meltdown from me. I'll be honest. Talk to me about your week in general, mate. Go for it.
So, like, this week's been crazy. Like, the whole United game, and obviously all that happened, and that was stressful as it was, but, you know, we got through it. I was very positive on the Monday. I was very like, you know what, we got through it. That's the main thing. We got the win. I watched the podcast you were on and what you said, and I was like, yep, I agree mostly. Like, I think I was I was very happy. And then obviously everyone, you know, you messaged me. You were very annoyed about the Trossard news, which happened on, that would have been like Tuesday, wasn't it? Tuesday night?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Tuesday night-ish. And that was like, okay, yeah. I was like, oh, we're not signing anyone. I actually did a video being quite angry about Trossard, which I never do videos when I'm that angry. And I streamed actually on that day as well. And I was on the Wednesday and the day. And I was just like, oh, I don't know, guys. I'm just not like, we're probably not going to sign anyone. Came up with all these options to sign players and was like, oh, I don't know. Like, and then Havertz got injured. Well, because like, obviously I woke up like 4 hours after Havertz had already been, like, everyone knew he's injured. I woke up at like 3 p.m. So like by the time I woke up, I was like, oh, Havertz is injured. Everyone's already had them discussions, and I was like, oh, I'll move on. And then like 3-4 hours later after that, then the SA deal happened, and I was like, what is going on with this club? And I was just, since then I've been like smiling so much, but I'm starting to be on the come down a little bit. We need the Leeds game. I need a Leeds win to get me through it, because I'm knackered. I'm so tired.
Mate, I mean, the whole thing is absolute mental, isn't it? Because even the way that it broke was just so bizarre, because we'd already had the here we go about EZE to Spurs, and then lo and behold, it goes the completely opposite direction. Quick question. I love throwing out a question to you, mate. Is this pre-planned, premeditated? Was Eze always gonna, you know, come to Arsenal? Were we just waiting for Tottenham to do the hard yards before we stepped in? Or is it because of the Havertz injury?
You know, it's funny because I had a conversation with my dad today, and I basically said the same thing, where I think a lot of people have been believe more that it's through the Havertz injury, like purely, and I think that plays a big factor in it. But it is no secret that Arteta, in the comments last week, he spoke about still bringing forward options in. And like with the whole Rodrigo thing, that's something that's not going to be solved by at least until like probably the last couple of days of the window, whatever's going on there. So like, I do think a lot of the club wanted an out-and-out winger more than like a attacking midfielder mould. But I think, I kind of think it's that sense that Arteta and Berta really wanted Eze, and I think a lot of the rest of the recruitment team weren't that sure. And I think what that meant is that they were willing to wait and see what happens. And I don't know if we were necessarily going to go in for him, but I think that they was, let's say like a 50% chance that we were going to still bother. Like, I think there was a possibility that we still would have bothered, and we were just considering it. And then maybe we were like, oh, I don't know if it's worth it. And then as soon as Havertz picked up that looks to be a cartilage injury, which we don't know how long it is, I think as soon as they saw that, they were like, we need a player in now. Who can we actually get that's already done all the groundwork? Eze's there. And I think they knew in that regard that it would be easy, because the reports kind of vary, but it seems like Tuesday night we kind of it seems like there was a meeting. Well, Hand of Arsenal said that there was a meeting between like Tim Lewis, like all of the main guys, Berta, Arteta, and Kroenke was there, and they basically had to convince Josh Kroenke to sort of like make this deal happen. And it seems like this all happened on the sort of Tuesday, and then by Wednesday morning we'd already agreed a deal. We'd already spoke to Steve Parish, and that had done. So I think I think it was like a 50-50 chance we would have come back in, and then I think it was 100 because Havertz's injury. So I think it impacted it, but I don't know if that's like all of the factor, the only reason.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it seems that the Havertz deal was the thing that, like, the straw that broke the camel's back. That kind of. You're right, mate. You're just like giggling away there. Is that
I
the
just
EZE
can't
news, or is
believe we're
this
going
something else?
EZE. It's just insane, isn't it?
It's mad, isn't it? Like, the deal in itself is so anti-Arteta almost. I think he might be I think he's probably the only Maverick we've had probably since Arshavin, and then before that, I guess Lexus, in terms of like a proper, consistently good performer. But Arteta doesn't like players like these, and I know for him personally, there's been a lot of people that have said, can he control certain characteristics and certain personalities? So, for example, like an Osman coming in, there's been a lot of people saying there's problems with his, characteristics, his personality, albeit an amazing player. Eze's got both. Like, he's really like, he understands the media. He keeps himself out of the limelight. He seems to be like really good trainer. You look at how the Crystal Palace fans have been with him leaving and the way that he's left. Like, he wanted to play an extra game for them. Yet he's got this maverick attitude on the pitch. So, like, for Arteta, I guess it's the best of both worlds now, because he gets in a player that's going to break the mold, but he's not going to rock the boat per se. Things like Declan Rice as well was one of the people that have put forward his name and, given him more or less like a character reference and said, actually, he's like the player that we need in. He's a player that would fit the squad really well. But this deal, like, I can finally sit and go, the Madwecky thing, cool. Like, it's fine. Because when that news broke about Trossard, and I thought, we're not going to get anyone else, Trossard suddenly got a pay rise and no extension, which in itself still doesn't quite make sense to me, like, albeit maybe because of Havertz. There's rumours that they'd agreed it prior to the summer. But the Madwecky thing, I can kind of go, right, he's the third attacker now. I don't mind. The going rate seems to be about that 50 mil mark now as well, if you look at like Elanga and Kudus and stuff. So for me, it's made the whole transfer window more acceptable, because it started to slip away. It's funny, isn't it? Like, how within a couple of days, your opinion of everything can completely change. Like, football's so stupid like that, but
it's so true. It's like the PR thing. Like, I always say that in terms of clubs, they don't really probably consider like overall factors, like such as like most fans online didn't like the Madueke sign. They probably didn't care. But ultimately, like, there is a certain sense of PR is important. We talk about the Newcastle thing with Isaac. We talk about even the Gyökeres thing. PR in a certain sense is important, and how the fans feel about the club is also very important, because if the fans are happy, if things don't go their way, they are more inclined to give you the benefit of the doubt. Arsenal haven't got the benefit of the doubt because of our last window, last summer, and for a long time now, we've always felt like that we're missing that one more player, or that next level, that more ambitious. Like, we do what we need to be done. And even this season, 6 signings, that's great, but arguably needed to be done. Like, they got forced into making signings such as Norgard, which they probably wouldn't have done. But ultimately, we had to do that. Like, it's not like they went out of their way and went, oh, yeah, we've got this guy. Mascara replaced Tommy, like Norgard replaced like Party. Like, these players replaced broadly players that left the club. So it made sense why, like, overall these kind of transfers. With an Eze though, like, Adam Cleary said it brilliantly in his analytical video, where like we just kind of have signed players that not only are we don't like, obviously we all know Madueke and Gyökeres are different to the style of players we already had, but in terms of what they bring to the team, there is still a lot of similarities. There's still an emphasis on making this right side more comfortable, instead of actually making the left side just balanced and making the left side better. And we still got the same problems out there. Like, Martinelli's there. Trossard looks like he's going to stay. Even though Madueke and even Saka, who probably will be the left winger, I think, for quite a while, Like, I think that's an option that is great, but it just doesn't change anything. It gives us, it maybe improves on what we have, but isn't enough change. And it's the same with, like, I look at our counter-attackings. Like, we will improve at these direct counter-attacks. It takes time to learn. It's not something we're going to learn straight away. But the best way and the quickest way to get better at that is just put a specialist at that in the team. You know, stop forcing people like Odegaard needs to get better at it, but you can't force him to do it. It's going to take time. So instead, for the meantime, put someone that can do that in. And, like, I mean, I said this. I said this months ago that I said if we sign any 2 out of 3 of Madueke, Eze, and Rodrigo, I'll be happy. Like, obviously, greedy me, I want the third one, but I said that as long as we sign Eze, like, I can be happy with this transfer window in terms of signings, because we've signed 7 players, we've signed 3 attackers. There's enough there we can work with to win the league. Like, there is enough. Yes, a Rodrigo would be perfect. Yes, these players would be great. Like, obviously, but now that Eze deal is like, it does change everything. Like, a week ago, I think people were calling for Berta's heads in many ways, and I thought that was a bit excessive. But everyone was like talking about how Berta's like not doing a good job and he's overrated. And now suddenly he brings in an Eze, and everyone's like, yeah, no, Berta's great. The sub is great. And everyone's a lot more willing to wait for these sales. A lot more. Everyone's now suddenly like, oh, we can wait a week for Ziddy to go. We can wait to see what happens to Kivior. Like 2 days ago, everyone was like, no. So it's just so much better. Like, the mood is just so much more enjoyable.
It's funny, isn't it? How, yeah, it does. Because I saw a tweet and it even started making me question what I had said previously on the pod. And it was, I think they'd made out that Arteta hadn't had any say in any of the signings so far.
I feel like I know the tweet.
Yeah, and they said, oh, Arteta asked for Garcia and he got Kepa. He asked for, I can't remember who else was on it. Sesko, and he got Gyökeres. He asked for Nico Williams and he got Madueke, and it started going through all these players, and I was just looking at it thinking, I mean, all rationality had left me at that point because of the Trossard juice. I'll be honest, I had absolute head loss, but started thinking, well, maybe the Berta kind of announcement and signing hasn't been beneficial for the club, because there's such different personalities and different, thoughts long term. But now I'm feeling a bit more calm and, rational. I can see that that's not the case. The summer has been good. And I think maybe if we stopped previously and we didn't get Eze in, I would start looking and go, well, what were we saving money for? Why were we going for these cheaper deals with certain ones, like the Nordgaard deal or the Mascara or Kepa deals, where you are saving money? And I started thinking, well, what are we saving it for? Now, fine. And what would you rate the transfer window by the way? So out of 10, right now, window closes. What are you going for?
It's instantly now like an 8.5, like easily. Like, maybe you could stretch to a 9. I'm very much big on these outgoings a little bit. Not even in sense of the money, like just in sense of the squad space. Like, now I know Havertz is injured and looks like it's some sort of ligament, injury to his knee. So it looks like he's going through therapy for 2 weeks, and then that doesn't go well, have surgery. But it isn't like the biggest injury in the world. Like, even if he has surgery, it will be reportedly like 2 months, 2.5 months out. Like
I had it previously. I had keyhole on my right knee, and I think total was like about 10 weeks from doing it. So,
and this is there's no good time to get an injury, but considering there's like 2 international breaks and the start to the season's always slow, like, he's actually only going to miss like at most 7 Prem games or something, which is like not that bad. Like, ultimately, in my eyes, we could have survived with him missing. Maybe the Liverpool one is going to be rough, but I think maybe not survived. But I think if Arsenal were in their old regime, they definitely would have rationale 7 games. Oh, we can get away with that without Havertz, like without buying. And I do think this is like it's a very much a Berta move. I also think it's a very much a frustrating move by Arteta. I think he's fed up. I think he does want players, and he's been adamant. I know we've bought players this season, but like we said, a lot of them were needs, not wants. And I think he wants players now. And I think this situation I think it does show a change in like the hierarchy at Arsenal. Like, I think we might not consistently do this. This might be a one-off, but this is a big change to what Arsenal usually do. I think I can see how this is seen as a bit of a reactive move, but I think this is insanely proactive. You know, Havertz getting injured and then in 4 hours, 5 hours time, hijack an Eze and instantly, I know like we'd done the groundwork there, so it was definitely easy to just come in and we knew the fee they wanted and give it. And like, I do think like, yes, the fee's a little bit of an overpay. He is going to be in a lot of money into his 30s. Like, that is going to be happening. But Arsenal don't care right now. They shouldn't care. They need to. We've got loads of young players. We've bought loads of money for the future. We've got loads of stuff embedded in there. We needed a player now, for quality now, that gets us over the edge. And that one player, like, I know a greedy me, like Rodrigo would be great and stuff, but I was saying that I want one more player to come in. And if that was an Eze, I mean, I remember I did my Eze versus Rodrigo video. And after that video, I actually came out of it saying that I actually think Eze would probably be for the fee a better signing. But I went like
Probably.
Rodrigo as an out and out is a better player, which makes more sense if you want to use that. But I was just like, get one more player in, please. And the new, like, not only was every single Arsenal fan like happy, like wanted Eze in the club, like that is the thing. This is the one guy that I think every single fan will tell you there's undeniable like love to him to come to the club. Madueke, you know, people didn't like that. Some people did. You know, Gyökeres, same with that. Even the same with a lot of the sides. Maybe Bar and Zubimendi, but he is a DM. It's a lot less like worryful for me because I think the attack was the big one. So going into it, I think as well, it's just such good for everyone of the fan base because everyone wanted it. We all got it. And it's just someone that we can all get behind. And now suddenly people will start giving the benefit of that to Berta, to Arteta, to these sort of players a little bit more. And I mean, the things that he's going to do it's going to be amazing. Like his story alone is enough to want him to come to the club, let alone the tap-in of it being against Tottenham. I saw someone say like on TikTok and they were like, oh, every Arsenal fan's going to love him just from that alone. And I was like, they loved him anyway. And you think about the love even more now because of that. There's going to be 5-year-olds growing up who don't even understand like too much about football, and they will know he rejected Tottenham to go to Arsenal. Like there'll be super young kids. When I was 7 years old, I started watching Arsenal. I would understand the impact that this would make, and like my love for Eze through that. So, like it's a win-win, and people like Madueke as well. Thank you, because it's going to give him so much less pressure, which I'm so happy for.
Mate, that's so true. So true. The fact that he can actually just kind of come in and acclimatize. Like, I think Eze won't be afforded as much time, maybe through the media, but although the fan expectation is that he's going to hit the ground running because he's in the Premier League and he's an established player. He's what, 27, I think.
Yep.
I think if he didn't hit the ground running, the fan base are so behind the signing, they will afford him more time than I think any other player that we've signed this summer, including Zubimendi, Gyökeres. You know, he's in a really good position. It's a really clever signing from the club because he can play multiple positions. He's a hell end lad. He supports Arsenal and has gone on record multiple times. Then he's, you know, I think didn't he ring his agents and said, do not talk to Tottenham. Like, that is enough. Do not talk to them now. Which I think that all these things in summary just, you know, they just make the deal almost perfect. Right, let's talk fantasy here. Okay. Announcement video. For you, how are they going to announce? Well, let's go through how are they going to announce it, and then how do we think they should announce it? Because we know the media team at Arsenal kind of do the bare minimum at times.
The problem is
the Gyökeres one was really lackluster, wasn't it?
But the problem is with the Gyökeres one, like context has to be applied. Like he was signed at what he actually went to the, or like I heard he went to the Arsenal training ground about 8 p.m. and then he had to fly in the morning after to Singapore or something like that, or like the day after. So they only had like 2 hours with him, and I think the media team only got like 45 minutes. And they're not allowed. I've heard that they don't pre-plan like announcements before we've agreed the deal, which makes complete sense. Like, because they're like, but I get like, apparently they're just not, they just, even it's a waste of time for them if it doesn't happen. I get that makes sense for the club. I don't really know what the other stuff the media team do, but I mean, I'm sure there's a lot. So I think like it's one of the moments where they probably had ideas, but apparently I heard that they did try to get Tom Hardy for the Gyökeres like thing because of like the whole Bane thing. But apparently that didn't happen because of literally like the timings didn't work out. They couldn't get him in time, and that's why it was kind of a lackluster video. I think with EZE, he's just going to come out against Leeds, so I don't even know if there will be like an announcement video inside. I've heard that they're trying to do one, and there might be like one of them cool like London ones that they do when we did one with like Madueke as well. But I think he'll probably just come out against Leeds before the game and be like, "Hi guys, Eze's here," and then that'll be it really. Wait, I can't hear you, by the way.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, good.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I was saying there's so many links on things with Eze. So Alex and Rohan on the Canon podcast was talking about chess and the fact you could link it into Zubamendi, who's a big chess player. For me, I don't know. I'm not really.
We definitely need to get. Well, you know what we need to do. You know what we need to do.
Yeah, well, like this is how I picture it. So you get Sol Campbell, all right? They just see the media team don't have to do anything here. All they've got to do is contact Google Pixel and say, "Look, can we just use your video?" So they just play the advert of Sol Campbell with his Google Pixel, and at the end, as he's holding his phone, it rings. He just picks it up and he goes, "Hello," and then it goes straight through to Eze saying, "Don't worry, I'm on my way." And then just play that over the big screens at the Emirates, and he walks out with Ian Wright, and they're both in Crystal Palace shirts, and they take off the Palace shirts, and they're in Arsenal shirts. They do Koscielny.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Job done. Job done. That's it. That's all you need to do. And then if you really want to get the chess in, they both sit in the middle of the the center of the pitch, and Zubamendi plays Eze during the pre-game warm-up. They just play each other at chess, which would probably take about 2 or 3 hours.
Like the amount of money I'd pay to go to the game tomorrow. Like I'm sure, obviously there's going to be. It's the first home game of the season. There's obviously going to be a lot of optimism anyway against Leeds. But the fact that we're Eze's probably going to come out before the game is just going to lift everyone. That crowd is going to be so fun. Let's hope that in the first 15 minutes we don't ruin that all and just pass the ball around slowly. Hopefully there's actually some good. Hopefully all the videos I've done on low blocks and the 5,000 million times we've bought players to solve it. Hopefully we can solve it. But I will say, as someone who knows Daniel Fark pretty well, that guy does not like low blocks. So he might not do one. So why not matter?
That'd be refreshing, wouldn't it? Play against it. Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? I mean, I wasn't going to go onto the game. We'll briefly gloss over it, and then maybe we'll do a proper preview in a minute, because I guess sticking on the Eze thing is the main thing right now. Do you think it's going to be like a clear win? Like, we're going to play well, play them off the park, win by at least 2-goal margin? Or do you think it's going to be a real difficult game?
I don't know. It's start of the season, and it really depends on the rustiness that we had from last week, if that's still there. Reportedly, Zubamendi had a sickness bug for most of the week, which is probably why he didn't look great. But even Rice was off, but Rice did get brought off from Marino, which is even because he's playing pretty bad, or that he just wasn't well, which, is also up there.
There's about 10 minutes left, wasn't there?
Yeah, you just wouldn't bring Rice off for Marino in that game state usually. So there's a lot of other aspects involved, but you would think that the players we've bought should be more set up to play against a team that are going to sit deeper. I think Madueke starting should probably be where we go. I actually like Madueke starting genuinely, because I think we talk about rotations between our wingers, which is something Liverpool used to do. They don't do as much with Salah, but they used to. Man City used to do it a lot. I love rotations with wingers. It's a big thing. And I think if you have Saka and Madueke, they're the two that can do that right now. I think I like Saka on the left and Madueke on the right. I think that's cool. I think that'd be a cool way to break down a low block. It depends what sort of game style it is, but you know, people like Calafiori are going to be really important. I thought, like, defensively, he's always a bit of a liability, but I thought going forward, he was brilliant against United. I really thought he
Well,
tried.
aerially, again,
It was
defensively, he was really good.
really
He's
good in the
just
air. Like, he was
crown
proper good in
jewels.
there. Yeah. I look like him and Gabriel aerially were like insane. Like, they were just not letting anything go in the air. So I really stopped a lot of them first long balls, which I really enjoyed. So like, I'm sure it's one of them things where there was obviously like rustiness, but there was also reasons why we weren't great against United. We're also not really ever that great at the first game of the season. We weren't Wolves last year. We weren't Palace the year before that. No, Forest the year before that. Sorry. So we haven't really been that great ever at like these early kickoffs, other than like that 22-23 season. So hopefully now, with the crowd being lifted through the EZE news, hopefully coming through, and the fact it's our first home game against a team that we should beat, I think you factor all them things in, it should be like an enjoyable game. And if they do play a low block, we should be set up for that. And then even if they don't, because Leeds pressed quite well against Everton, I felt like, or at least like they intently. But that is a lot of that is down to atmosphere. I could tell you for one, like I'm probably not the most experienced person to talk about every team in the league, but I know Daniel Fark to a T. That guy. Like that, I know him so well. I know exactly how he manages, and I know exactly what he does. It's the same thing he did at Norwich for like 4 years. I've seen it before, and like at home, he gets all the crowd up, and it's honestly like you can't even breathe in there. When Norwich beat Man City 3-2 years ago, Aguero and Rodri scored. I was there, and it was mental. Like I have a video of me zooming in on Pep's bald head and me laughing, and I remember like it was just mental. Like you couldn't even hear yourself think, and I was like, you can see how the team gets up for that. And I was like, when Norwich went away from home, though, nothing. They're just nothing.
Yeah.
They just get absolutely destroyed. And he's always tried to play his possession-based game, and I think he's started to realize that he can't. I know after like 3 promotions to the Premier League, he's realized that actually that's probably not the best way to go. So I think that like if they give us the ball loads, we'll be fine. Hopefully, Zubimendi will finally get to see his actual ability. I think a lot more than we did in the other game. And like ultimately going into it, it should be a really exciting game. You never know, of course, but you know, it's just exciting. It's exciting. Gyökeres hopefully gets his chances. And like, I mean, I would have loved Eze to be part of the team. I wonder who we're going to put on the bench because obviously, like, Kivior, Norgard missed out last week. I would assume Norgard's back now with the Havertz injury. I'm sure that's just like a one-on-one. Norgard comes in. I think Kivior's like rumored to be leaving, or like there's certainly talks there. So I don't know if he'd even be on the bench at this point. I don't think there's a need at the moment. So I think in terms of that, like, I'm excited. It's going to be hopefully fun. It's one of them games like it's like you want at the start of the season, you want a nice little game. Like no disrespect to Bournemouth because they were good last year, but Bournemouth had just changed their whole back line. I'd rather play them hurt first. Burnley at home, like Tottenham played. You know, Wolves away. No, not United away, and then Liverpool away next week. Like, I'll take the Leeds at home, please.
Ah, mate. The one thing with Leeds is they will have such good away support, like Leeds always do. So I guess it'll be similar to Norwich, apart from the fact that they're gonna have this absolute, die-hard fan base that travel everywhere with them. The possession football is going to be a bit of a change for them, though, compared to like seeing Bielsa, for example, a bit more kind of chaotic. Yeah, I do wonder how they'll play. I wonder if they'll have to go against his principles and sit back, or if he'll just say, "Do you know what? Just go." Because at times, it could be argued that being pragmatic is the best course of action against a big team like Arsenal or against a City or a Liverpool. But how often do you actually get points? So at the same time, like, why not go and play your game? Go and do what you think is right. Stick to your principles and do it. Maybe I'm just trying to talk.
At least try though. Like that was my big damning report about the Ipswich game we played at the Emirates last year. We scored in like the 30th minute, and they never tried to attack. And I get they're probably always going to lose that game if they go for it. But they fundamentally just took the 1-0 loss. They didn't even try. I don't even think they had a shot for like 70 minutes of the game. I don't even know if they shot on target in that game. And I watched that game and I was like, what we like, I was a bit nervous as well because we're only 1-0 up, but I was like, they're just not even attacking. Admittedly, when we obviously played them at their place, like they had to be more open, and then they got thrashed. I mean, we thrashed them at their place, like what 4-0. Man City won 6-0 at their place, and that was when Man City weren't even playing well. Like that is the problem with these teams when they are sometimes a little bit more open at like home. They have these problems where they just get absolutely destroyed. So like I think Leeds. I can't really remember the Arsenal Norwich game from lockdown where we won 1-0. We lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
Aubameyang scored. That was in COVID. I can't remember that game. I know obviously it happened, but I can't remember how Norwich set up if they were defensive in that. I know our attack wasn't exactly brilliant in them first few games either. But I will say with Norwich and how it is, when Daniel Farke was at Norwich, they always start the season well. In the Prem, I remember they beat Newcastle, I think, as one of the first games of the season. I think Pukki scored a hat trick. And then they did nothing for like
that name.
yeah,
Had that name.
they
for a
did
little
nothing
while.
for like 6 months, and then they won later. So they will be up for it. It'd be they are a very like they cover a lot of ground. They're an aggressive team, so in that sense, like they might press because I think they can, especially if someone like Aronson is more likely to play, like just covers loads of areas. So in that sense, they might press us, and if they press us, let's hope our passing's a bit better. But if we do get them counterattacks, it'd be nice to see maybe a little bit of a approach, or like, oh, we've looked at the VOD from last week and said, oh, this is what we've got to do. These are the movements we need to make. So, it's all about improvement, and hopefully we can get that. Like, I kind of don't want to see Martinelli play, respectfully. I don't know if I'm just kind of bored of it. I think he might need to come out of the team for a bit. I know it's only start of the season, but he started the end of last year, and he started like in pre-season. It's been clear he's our number one, and I just think maybe he needs to come out for a bit, and then we bring him back after the international break. I just think maybe that should be where we look at.
Yeah, I was saying the same on the Red Line Half Spaces podcast with Yembele, and I put forward at this point in time, I wasn't impressed with Madueke's performance at United, like defensively especially. It was wanting, to say the least. Martinelli, again, you look at the game at United, it's Old Trafford, it's really open. You've actually got space to run in, and still his running lines are terrible. His choice of pass is terrible. I was so frustrated, and I said, at this point, just play Trossard out there. Even Nelson, to be fair to him, Nelson looked the best out of anyone on the left flank during pre-season. He's still at the club. Just play him. Like I'm at that point. So maybe that's where Arteta is, because obviously you mentioned it earlier, him playing on the left wing during training. Maybe that's the way forward, but I mean, it's just part of me thinks if it's free flowing and you're doing like a Sane and Sterling thing where they're changing flanks, they're switching play, even you're letting Gyökeres like run the left flank and someone comes inside, I'm fine with that. But part of me thinks you're probably in world football one of the top 3 right wingers. And then you're saying to him, if you say to him, I want you to play on the left wing the entire game, I just don't know. Like there's so many things you do get from that. You get finally like a left footer. You get someone who can stick out on the touchline and actually whip in crosses. But then you lose so many elements of Saka's game doing that. So I don't know.
I would tend to agree. Like I said to you before this as well, that like I don't really agree with our best player. He should be platform, not be platforming others like Havertz before and stuff like that. But I do think like it is a conversation that like we haven't really had, and I know people don't really want to talk about, but Saka hasn't been good since his injury. Like he hasn't come back. He isn't that good at the moment. Like there's signs. There's definitely signs of him improving. I think that Bilbao game he was good in. And I'm hoping that's the sort of more game we see against like Leeds.
Yeah.
But in terms of dribbling, he is struggling a little bit. You can see he's a bit tentative to go into challenges. And I think if he is struggling on the right, and I think broadly, like attack is failing generally at the moment, I do think it will get better. But I think maybe putting him on the left might be a nice change of pace for him. He might get more space out there. It might give us more options. And I think I would rather do that and put Madueke on the right than shove Madueke on the left right now. Because Like you
Yeah.
said, Madueke's pressing was like he was bad off the ball and like knocked Tracker back. I think that is purely just because he's new and he barely played much in preseason. Like he hasn't even played 90 minutes, I don't think, combined, or maybe it's just about that combined at the moment.
Yeah, probably.
Because of like, the stupid Club World Cup, and then he came in and couldn't have a preseason. So I do think like it will take time for Madueke to learn it. That's why I don't think Madueke will start tomorrow, because I still think he needs time. I don't think you'll see him playing properly until a couple of months, because that is just how long it takes. And I don't even think Gyökeres would have been playing against most of these teams, but he has to, because of Havertz like now being injured. So I think in that sense, like Saka should be tried on the left. Maybe not tomorrow because we don't have the options. But for Liverpool, like, it has to be some sort of consideration, because if this attack keeps failing, I think it will get better. And I think there's ways it will improve. But the press is all over the place. The build-up is all over the place. And on that counter-attack, like, all of them are a problem. Like, Martinelli was probably the worst one on the counter-attack. And I get Odegaard's releases were poor. But all the work Odegaard did before the release was fine. And the runs were just dreadful. Like, Gyökeres is making somewhat runs, but Saka just keeps making the same runs as him. Gyökeres and Saka don't understand each other. That will come in time. I still think Gyökeres is being aimed to move to the right too much, just bring him over to the left. But obviously that will change with an EZE coming in. So I'm hoping that, like, I don't know. I don't mind Saka moving to the left if it has to be right now. But I like long term, that shouldn't be our solution. Like Champions League semi-finals, we should be playing him there. But I mean, right now, just because the attack's kind of failing, I wouldn't be that against it. But yeah, like, I'm hoping it's weird because this attack. If the attack is bad, like it's been bad, and the first game of the season wasn't a great. It was probably one of the worst performances of anything. But I think we all think that it's going to be better. Obviously, Eze's coming in. The team will learn it. Gyökeres will learn the pressing style. Eze will learn the pressing style. And then it will become a lot easier. And then you can kind of risk taking someone like Odegaard out of the team, because at the moment he can't come out of the team. He's the only one that is good in press. He was the only one that actually knew how to press, it seemed like, in the first game of the season. So we kind of need him in there. But, I mean, at least in these sort of games against Leeds, we can probably risk a little bit more. We can probably risk going a little bit more attacking and going a bit balls to the walls in a sense. So, I don't know. It's going to be fun, hopefully.
Doesn't sound like it at the moment, does it? It's so bad. You look at our squad. So let's run through the current squad and, who's available. So you've got Kepa and Raya. Great. Cool. Didn't want Kepa particularly, but I'm happy. As a backup, fine. Calafiori and Miles. Again, brilliant. Gabriel, Kivior, Mosquera, Saliba, Timber, White. So the back five, literally, you've got, 2 for every position. It's fine. Zubimendi and Norgard. I'm happy with Norgard. Like he, to be fair, in pre-season, I think he actually performed even better than people expected. But, Premier League proven. He's been a captain of a Premier League club as well. So he'll come in and do a job if needed. I think long term, we've discussed it previously on the pod, I wouldn't have him, holding the fort if Zubimendi was injured for 6 weeks or something. But that's a different matter. Rice and I guess Marino. Do we say Marino right now? I guess Marino as the other left eight. Eze. I don't know. It depends how you're looking at it. Odegaard and Waneri. Out on the right, Saka, Madueke. Then you've got Gyökeres and Trossard.
Yeah, or Martinelli at the moment. I think either of them you can really.
Or Marino.
Yeah, or Marino. Like, we've got options. This is the thing with the Eze signing that I like the most about, like, the Havertz injury, and where it kind of makes sense is that, like, you think about Havertz being a striker with Gyökeres. Like, if Eze now has to play on the left, that means Martinelli's coming out of the team or Trossard's not getting in the team. Instantly, they can just be the sub-striker. If Gyökeres is not here for a game, or you're worried about... Like, this is a great example. For the Liverpool game next week, like, I'm worried about Gyökeres in terms of learning the press that quickly for a team that we have to get it right against. And if you're worried about that, you can just play Martinelli up front, or Trossard, who aren't the best pressers, but they at least understand it a lot more, especially Trossard. Trossard's pretty good in the press. He understands what he's doing quite well. So maybe you want Martinelli for that pace. I actually wouldn't hate Martinelli up front in that game. I know it's crazy for how bad he's been, but You put an Eze to the left, you put a Saka on the right, you put an Odegaard behind him. I don't mind Martinelli. We saw how good Martinelli would have been against Liverpool last season at Anfield when we did them runs but never played him the ball. You put an Eze in there, you put an Odegaard in there, they're going to play the balls a lot more. So I wouldn't hate it. I've been saying for months that I just prefer Martinelli as a striker. Like compared to Trossard, I actually think I'd rather Trossard as a left winger and Martinelli up front. I've said this for months, and we're just so reluctant to do it. We're so much more prevalent to putting Trossard up front now, and I just don't like it. He's not fast enough. We play long to him. I hate that. At least with Martinelli, runs in behind all the time. He's quick, so I'm like, oh, I think it's probably down to pressing reasons, but I would rather just put Martinelli in them areas. Like say Gyökeres tomorrow is tired after the 70th minute. I mean, Martinelli will probably start, you have to admit. But I wouldn't mind putting Martinelli up front and then bringing Trossard on the left rather than the other way around. We've got to use Martinelli more as a central striker, man. If he's going to stay, if he's not going to leave for £80 million, and we've got injuries such as Havertz not in the team, he should be up front a lot more than Marino. Marino's just tall. Like, we have tall players. We could deal with box crashes. Just have a runner in behind, please. Have some pace. We need the pace.
I understand maybe like, if you are in a game state where you're losing and you need to throw the kitchen sink at it, put Marino on. His ability in the air alone is worth doing it. And he's shown, to be fair to him, he's probably one of the best finishers at the club. The difference is, I think, starting him, there lies the problem. Especially you look at the end of last year, Trossard was our most used attacker. You then had Havertz out, Jesus out. We had no cover really for Saka. Waneri it seems like he wasn't fit at the end of the season, so he couldn't really have many more minutes at the end of the season. It was just chaos. And at least this season, with Havertz like having the injury, albeit let's hope that it's not for long, we have got options now. Like for me, did you actually hang on? Did you even answer the question with your score for the transfer window? Right?
Yeah, like 8.5. So I said.
Okay. What makes it a perfect window?
Rodrigo, get him in. 10 out of 10.
Rodrigo makes it. See, for me, I don't think Rodrigo makes it perfect. But I still look and I think, you wanted it perfect, you need like a Leao or Barcola. Just people to go out on the outside, a little bit stronger as well. But we lack pace. Like, I was looking and going, okay, like Eze answers a lot of questions, which I think we should probably come on to next. But we still lack that steering pace. I think Gyökeres has helped with that a little bit. Apart from him, Martinelli's really the only player.
Eze is quick though, like, and it's more like I think one of the biggest issues for Arsenal is not necessarily like pace as in running. I think it's quick in actions. We're just kind of slow, like And I think Eze brings that like a lot. Like instantly, every time he receives the ball, he's like super quick to do something. Something that he is unbelievable at. Like it's just that like in them little 3v3s or 4v3 moments, he just seems to find the right pass every time. There was a moment against Chelsea on the weekend where he was like out on this left hand side, like really deeper, and he was up there with Mateta and Sarr. And it was kind of like a 3-on-3, but he was kind of caved into this area. And I was just thinking, well, he's not going to be able to do anything. They're going to tackle him. And he just lifts his foot over and passes the ball over two players into Mateta, who comes deeper, and he makes the run in behind. And I was just like, that's just something we don't have. Like that is finding solutions in them moments so quickly is elite. And I think like this is why I kind of want Rodrigo, because Rodrigo is super fast. Like he is fast. Like he is really quick. He's not necessarily like a runner in behind, but he is fast, as in when he has the ball, he's just like quick with it and runs at people very fast with it. So I think like that is what I would want. I do think like a Leao, like, and I've always wanted Leao. Like I think Leao makes the most sense with the market now. Like I think Nico Williams probably would have been my first shout if we like were talking about anyone, but he's obviously not available. And I think given how the market's gone on, I've gone on about Leao. Like I love Leao, but I do think still with Leao in there, he's not a starter because of the problems that he has off the ball sometimes. Like, I just don't think, one, Arteta would play him every game, and two, could I see Leao starting against United away like we played on the weekend at the start? No, I can see him coming on. Maybe you could argue that's a bit like Gyökeres, so it's not really like the biggest difference. I do think like a Rodrigo does bring undeniable quality. Like we do need the overlapping player, but we might just have to have Calafiori do that. Now the problem is that it's very dependent on Calafiori staying fit more than like I don't have a worry about Calafiori doing that role. It does limit him because he can't be chaotic as much, but that's fine. You know, I would rather Calafiori be less chaotic to get Rodrigo and Eze playing well. You know what I mean? But
100%.
but like, yeah, like the problem is can he stay fit for like longer than 6 games? Like that's the real issue. And I do think like, yes, there is going to be still issues with the squad, but I don't think we were going to solve every issue with the squad. And like, I mean, the fact we've signed 7 players this summer, like at the start of the summer, we sat there and I said, well, we have to sign. We said about it, we had to sign at least 5 or 6. Is
Yeah,
what we
we
said.
did.
Yeah, and like obviously like I think the Norgard one was one we didn't see and also like had to happen. It weren't like a pre-planned. It was kind of just like, oh yeah, I had to do that. But everyone else like was signs we had to make in many ways and like
No,
we
100%.
expected to make us. And you know, we made 7 signings. Like I'm satisfied with the window. Like if it ended today, like with a couple of sales, I'm not like the most happiest. Like have we maybe not solved all our problems? Yes, but I don't think we've left ourselves short now. Like I think we did
Yeah.
before. And like I look at Liverpool, and at the moment, at the time of recording, they are leaving themselves at least 1 or 2 players short in some areas. And Frimpong's now injured, so like you know these injuries will happen, and that is a big part of it. But I don't know, like it is exciting. Like the Eze signing is so exciting. It's so exciting.
Ironically, I think that Frimpong injury, and this is going to sound crazy, it might actually be beneficial for them just in terms of balance, just for a little while, so they can kind of get used to Kerkez coming in, and then over time, then start bringing Frimpong back in gradually. I do wonder if that will help
I
them, but
think for their
playing themselves
games
up
as
now.
well, like he's injured until the next international break, which is after the next 2 games. Their 2
Mhm.
games are Newcastle away and us at home. Like
Yep.
tough game. I to be honest though, the problem is they're gonna have to play Bradley there. And I like Bradley against all the teams in the league, barring the big ones. When we played them, he was
Yeah.
considerably weak. Like Trossard and Martinelli were quite dominant against him when we played them. Um, and that's the thing. If Martinelli continues to make some runs, I think that could be a big part of it. So it's so interesting. Liverpool are by far and away well, I'd say actually City are the most interesting team in terms of what they've done this window, and Liverpool are second. Like we talk about our business, and I think that like Eze's fun and like where he fits, and like it's not a guaranteed like it's not a person on paper that you see fitting perfectly. So it's kind of fun to see how he works, and Gyökeres as well is like a fun player. But you can still broadly see the idea from Arsenal generally, like
Yeah.
where they've bought players. Eze will play on the left, Gyökeres will play up front. They needed a striker, you know, easy. For them, it's like what like I don't like they signed left back, right back, but like they're no defending, and then they got no DM, and then and then I look at City and they're like Trafford, and then they might get Edison away for Donnarumma. They tried to get they tried to sell. Who did they try to sell? They tried to sell real Rico Lewis, didn't they? And then Rico Lewis played really well. So I don't know. It's so weird.
Thanks, Alex, our guy. I already appreciate that, mate. Just, mate, if do you know what? If that now goes when he signs ringing round the Emirates Stadium, I'm going to give you credit for that. But, the whole transfer window is so strange because yeah, Liverpool are now really unbalanced in terms of their squad. Like, and don't get me wrong, like the signings they've made are unbelievable. Like, there's not many better left backs than Kerkez. In terms of attacking right backs, Brimpong's incredible. You're getting Verts, who's the best 10 on the market. They've gone and got Ekitike, who's one of the best young strikers, like a lot of upside there.
So good.
If they get Isak, is there a better striker right now in the world? Not for me. So that the signings individually are absolutely insane. Squad building just doesn't make sense. And we said it in the past, like Pep seems to be getting the best out of the players that he's already brought in. You know, this switch to a more transitional play, more power runners seems to be working. Like Reinders looks so good. So good. But really, our business has probably been the most sensible. And then when you look at it, our squad is like made up of players who play in the wrong positions. So it's like, we've all said about, Ben White, centre back playing right back, or Calafiori, centre back playing left back, or Miles as a centre midfielder playing left back as well. There's so many of them. And then what do we go and do? Right, we really need someone to take place on the left wing, out on the touchline. Oh, we'll go get a number 10 in Eze. That's what we'll do. And we'll just put him out there.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Like in its own weird way. Like if you talk to someone about the makeup of our squad, like on Football Manager, when you have like a player's like primary position, that they can also play this and this. That's basically the makeup of our squad. Like no one's actually playing in their proper position. I'm trying to think of anyone. I guess the two centre backs are Zubimendi, Odegaard.
Wow. No, not really. He's like, I mean, I guess kinda. His role's not really the best.
You can even argue, really, is Saka really like a right winger? Like, that's something that we've almost kind of fell upon because of Pepe and his performances. Like, is it like in like any other club, would he have ended up as a left winger? Like, probably. I guess he would.
I think like you just have to be versatile, isn't it? And I always give credit for Arsenal in this sense. And I know some people look at it as a negative. I mean, you can look at anything in any way. I look at it as a positive. It's like the one reason why Arsenal were able to like still be competitive while having an injury crisis is because of the versatility of our players. Like we buy players sometimes we buy pretty much every player we buy is dependent on role. Like even Eze, we're not looking at where he can fit in the team on position. We're looking at where he fits in the team in terms of role and like where that role fits in to help us. And it's the same with like Marino. Why was Marino signed? Marino was signed to be a guy that is very physical, wins loads of duels, very good in the air, and just like ticks things around. And then when we had injuries up front, we're like, well, you are the most similar players to Havertz. We'll just shove you up front then. And like, yeah, he's not brilliant, but he's still good up front. And like, yeah, he's a decent finisher, you could say. But also there's a lot of other things in that, like such as like him being good in the air still, him finding good space in the box back post. Like that was things that was the same as his role as a midfielder. We've just moved him up front. So I will always like benefit Arsenal in that way. Like City is so weird. City, and you know what? It's funny because City beat Wolves 4-0, and now everyone's like waxing lyrical about it and going on about how great they are. And it's like I watched that game. The first 30 minutes, Arteta would have ripped his hair out. Like the entire time, Wolves just overmanned, overlapped on that right-hand side and got through. And because Wolves are the same team they've been for about 4 years, where they're great until the final third and they don't have a clue what they're doing, same things happen. They couldn't figure it out. And I was like, Man City don't look clean and they're so good going forward. It's a lot easier to... It's the same with Liverpool. Like people are not even talking about Liverpool's defensive weaknesses because they score 4 goals. And we just don't have that. We are a defensive team in comparison. And like, I get that people want to see more attacking football, but that's not who we are. We should definitely try and play more football like 23-24 in terms of like when we had that box and we were so good because we weren't even very good defensively, but also decent going forward. And that's where I really want to aspire to be. Not this 22-23, like where everyone romanticizes, oh yeah, I want to go back to that. We were so open defensively. I hate that. I don't want to be open defensively personally. I want to be good defense. We have like 2 of the best centre-backs in the world, one of the best goalies in the league. Like, they should be like rewarded with that, not being given like these moments where like, oh, good luck, you're a 4v2, good luck, mate. I know it's not fair. Like I wanted to actually have a fair enough chance to defend. So, I mean, I look at this stuff and I'm like, I don't know. Like I think every team has worries about their transfer window. Like I think we all look at signings very differently when there are other teams. Like for instance, like Kuzkev. Kuzkev's a good player, very good player, a great season for Bournemouth last year. But he's 21. He's super young. He's not widely experienced, and he had one good season. And even in his first game against Bournemouth, I saw a lot of like, oh, he's still learning. He's still trying to get the hang of it.
He didn't look as good as he had last year.
And it's like, and the thing is as well, like. He was good for Bournemouth last year, but it's also that thing of like how many games do people watch at Bournemouth? Most of Bournemouth's games are going to be on that 3 o'clock time frame. I mean, I don't watch them games because I don't have any sort of device, but I know a lot of people do nowadays. But like I feel like in terms of like this is the thing with Anthony Robinson's a brilliant example of this from Fulham. People always go on about him, and I think he's good. The stats look really good, and when I watch him, I'm like, yeah, there's something about him. But there's games I've watched him against bigger teams where he's just fully struggled, completely out of the game, not been in it. And I was like, that's the thing that ultimately matters. I remember that everyone used to say this about Wilfred and Didi. He'd turn up when the cameras and video cameras are on, and it's on Monday Night Football, he'd turn up. But then when it's a 3 o'clock Saturday kickoff, he's awful. That's what Leicester fans always used to tell me. And I think sometimes with Kirchhoff, like, he will get there. But I look at that signing very much like our Calafiori signing. Like, it gives us a lot. They're both similar position. Well, they're same position, similar price, similar age. There's a lot there to the same. But Calafiori brings us things, but he has weaknesses, especially defensively. And I think Kirchhoff's defensively weaknesses were really shown on the weekend, last weekend or Friday. So, like, it's not like it's one of them signs that we look at and go, brilliant signing. They've upgraded that position, but there's still a lot to learn and get there. And I think with, like, when we talk about Arsenal all the time, it's a lot easier for us to be like, oh yeah, Madueke needs time to learn that pressing, or Gyökeres needs time to learn it. And obviously a lot of fans outside of Arsenal won't give us that. They won't really understand that. But then when it's in their club, they understand it. Oh yeah, Coach Gift didn't play well this game. We need to give him time to learn this pressing style, or this system here, or this one-on-one here. So it's one of them things where I look at and I go, like, every team has massive questions. Like, Reinders is a great example. I'm in so many, like, big group chats in terms of, like, people that work in the industry, and they keep telling me, fraud watch this guy, he's not good. I've been a big Tijani Reinders fan for years. Like, he's one of my favourite players. He was when he was in the Dutch league. I just always have liked him. He's a really progressive, fast running player. I love that sort of type of midfielder. But I'm not going to judge him when he plays against Wolves when they give him all the space he wants. I'm going to judge him when he plays us or Liverpool or them sort of teams, because that's the level that Man City need to get at. Like, and that's the level that City is struggling. Like, they're City thrash crap teams all the time. They've done this for years. Like, they thrash Wolves over and over again.
Last year when they weren't great,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they beat all these teams loads. So, like, I want to see how these signers kind of. I think it's funny how, like, people have made their opinions about players or, like, about things already, and, like, I want to see how things really, like, transpire over time. Like, Gyökeres, hopefully, like, tomorrow's his time. Emirates debut. It's time.
I hope he actually has a really good year, because he's wanted to come to the club. Like, Gyökeres, like, wanted to be there, so I'm hoping. Like, let's go through it, because we just both mentioned about how we've essentially bought players to fit roles rather than positions. EZE, quite obvious, like, his one-on-one dribbling, his ability to actually play in transition. We've had big problems with zone 14, and, like, I mean, the Man United game, just watch that if you want to know the problems with in transition and our releasing of passing and our choice of passing. I think he solves so many of those issues, regardless if he plays as a true 10, as he plays a left 8, if he plays on the left wing. He solves so many problems, and our team can now actually change if we need to. Like, I think we got really predictable at what Arteta was going to choose at times. It was really obvious last season. You look at it, it was Miles on the left, same centre-back pairing, Timber on the right. It was then Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Martinelli on the left, if possible, Havertz up top, if possible, and Saka out on the right. And then you bring in the injuries, it was even worse. Like, our bench at times was horrific. This year, it's really interesting that we can go along, like you mentioned about Sterling and Sane and, the flipping of the wingers. We could kind of do a City where we play with 2 10s and we play with Eze and Odegaard and push them forward. We can play it so Rice is on the right-hand side and Eze's on the left-hand side. We can play him on the left wing if we want. We can, there's so many different options by just buying in one player, which is amazing. It's so nice that we've got something different. And we've got someone who's going to step up at free kicks now. And I'm not going to just look away and just, check the other scores on my phone, because Eze can actually shoot from free kicks.
It's funny because I think our free kicks are a very interesting conversation. I think the problem is that we cross, like, every single one, and it seems to be like a Jova thing. And I don't know if that's going to change. Like, Rice is.
Well, to be fair, the amount of times I've seen Odegaard hit the wall from free kicks is,
Yeah,
when
crazy.
it means
Well,
actually shooting.
we've
But
tried a
I
little
think
bit.
he's 90, isn't he 96th percentile or something for shot creating actions from shots? And I think he's really high from the amount of times that he does take a shot from free kicks as well, which is really refreshing because, like you say, Yova, a lot of the time, he wants the high probability things, the outcomes. I think part of it might be a little bit of like arrogance of, yeah, well, I've got this brilliant set play and I know exactly how it's going to work. And to be fair, 90% of the time it does come off. The
I
Rice example against Real Madrid, just shoot sometimes. And I
yeah.
think Eze has got that about him, that he'll step up and go, nah, I'm shooting from here. Like he'll block out that
Well,
noise.
what we need, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I think in terms of not just our shooting cross, I think our crossing free kicks will just be so much better. Like I think Odegaard. I mean, I know Rice is okay at them sometimes. He got that assist against Liverpool at home last year. I remember Mourinho's first goal, where he kind of whipped that ball in on that side pit. But them sort of positions, more on like the left side, I'd say, are going to be Eze's like territory. He crosses the ball a lot from them areas really well. I remember watching the Palace game on the weekend, which is like the best reference for it. And every time he took a set piece, it was like on the money or like really good. And then I remember, I think he came off like later on in the game, like 80th minute, and they put someone else on them and they were just awful. And I was like, wow, Eze really has carried this team from a set piece perspective. And Ethan, that is something that Ethan's trying to develop. He took a lot in preseason and was not very good. Like he's struggling a little bit. So I like that. I like the ability, like you said, like to have the mentality because he does to like believe in himself in sense, and like he is going to shoot. And I think we could all warrant him shooting a little bit more from free kicks than Odegaard, respectfully, because of his quality from them. And like the thing is, I think a great way to explain Eze as art for Arsenal is that he is not going to, like a full start in Arsenal 11. He is a left. He will play left wing. Like if everyone's fit, everyone's fine. That he plays left wing. But that's not where it gets interesting. The where it gets interesting is when there's some players that are injured or there's a different game state, or Arsenal are struggling to score, or Arsenal need to defend here. He can sit in a low block very well. It's something I spoke about in my video. Like he is known to do it at Palace. He's very good at doing his job. He's very due diligent. He'll work hard. So he can sit deeper fine in that sort of left-sided position as a winger. But there's also ways that, like you said, like if we're playing a team that aren't getting the ball, aren't being very aggressive, we're being able to control, then you can easily play an Odegaard and Eze attacking midfield pivot, like both of them. He could play more as that left attacking midfield, the Lamb, which is where he plays for Palace, where he can come out wide sometimes, but you can see some interchange with someone like Calafiori would be quite fun, I think. And that'd be great against like these low blocks. And there's also systems where Arsenal could just be like, well, Odegaard, we don't need to press that well in this game. Odegaard maybe coming off later on, or Odegaard's not been good. He's ill, not feeling very well. Let's just play a 4-2-1-3 or 4-2-3-1 and just play Eze in the attacking midfield position and a double pivot, because we've been going on about this double pivot, and I do think we are playing more of a double pivot. Like it's not as maybe as clean and as like easy to see as I thought it would be, but there is evidently clear signs that Rice is dropping deeper, sitting alongside Zuba. Even like one of them's going towards the centre back, and when Calafiori pushes out, Calafiori will move up into more of an attacking role, and we'll use them two a bit deeper. One will be at the centre back. So I think in them sort of senses, like Eze's, like he just offers us so much. He offers us also like the ability. Finally, the team are not going to be right side dependent. Sometimes football is like a complicated game, and I'm very much someone that makes videos on even specific tactical things. Like I speak for 4 minutes about Odegaard moved here an inch and that opened this gap. That's like half my videos are about. But sometimes it is just a simple thing. Like Adam Cleary said this, and I completely agree. It's just that our right side of our attack is just so like it's so predictable, and that's exactly where we want to get the ball, because that's our only real two creators being Saka and Odegaard are there. So every team that we've played against has just stopped us progressing on that right hand side, and we've struggled to do anything on this left. Now we've got Eze. They're gonna worry. It's gonna make teams have to have another extra player over to the left side, which not only will give space to the right hand side, but for these quick switches, Eze will love these one-on-one abilities. He's a great direct player, gets shots away. I will say something with him. He shoots a lot, and his shooting is kind of funny. Like the Chelsea game of the weekend. It's so funny because I was watching the Chelsea game. In terms of I was actually analysing it for Tottenham. I was doing a video on my second channel, which is kind of funny now. And when I was watching it, I was just like, oh, this guy's fun. Like he is super fun. He had 3 shots in that game. And the average like distance of them was like 30 yards. He had one from 35 yards, which was straight at the goalie, and I was like, okay, it's mad. He had the free kick, which was just outside the box, 20 like 18 yards out or whatever. And then he had one on the break where he should pass in Mitchell to his left, and he shoots it. It goes like kind of straight at the keeper. Sanchez saves it over the bar. And that was about 25, nearly 30 yards out. And I was like, this guy's funny, man. I was like, this guy's just shoot. Like, he just shoots it. But every single shot was on target. Like, that's the main thing. 2 of them, well, one should have been a goal, and then the rules came in. One got a corner from 30 yards out, and then one was like a catch by the keeper. But I was like, that is just the best thing. Like, he's not smashing the ball over the bar. He's at least shooting on goal. And that gives you the chance, goalkeeper drops the ball, your strikers are there. Yeah. And that's where you, like you were saying with the created chances from the shots, that's where it comes from a lot, because he's just so accurate at just getting the ball on target. And that's going to be something we need. Like, that is where I look at it and go, it's going to be super fun. I can't wait.
Oh, mate. Like this, I was thinking about a lineup. And I was going to put it out on my Twitter, and I thought, I know what people will do. They won't listen in context or read in context because no one's got comprehension skills anymore. But I would love to see at some stage, I can't imagine where this will happen, like a Carabao Cup or FA Cup game or something. But I'd love to see Saka out on the left at some point with Eze and Waneri, Max Dowman out on the right, and then Gyökeres up front. I would love to see that and see how they interchange and see how they can link up. And that would be really interesting. Like, it's going to be nice as well. If Eze does come out on the right-hand side at times, Saka finally gets a player who's playing in central zones that's happy to go on the overlap and drive and drag players out of position. Odegaard, a lot of the time, is quite regimented in what he does. And he's not one for kind of, bombing around the outside and giving that. It's all, Ben White is usually the person we look at to do that. But like Eze's got that in him. Like, I didn't even think about it until you started talking. Like, we were talking about the set pieces. We've actually got someone now ready made. If Rice isn't on the pitch, there you go. Eze, you take the corner now. Like, that's been something that we've been missing. It was like when Odegaard wasn't fit, and I thought, who's going to take the corners now? And I know Saka did a few times, and Rice did, which was one of the few like out swinging corners we did instead of in swingers. But yeah, it's interesting to see what we'll do. But we'll wait and see now, mate.
I mean, our corners last year were awful when Saka got injured. Awful. Saka and Rice are the only 2 that seem to be able to take them. So, like you said, like, I don't hate Odegaard taking them. I personally think he's pretty bad at them now. Like, he used to be good. I just don't think he at least gives what we want. But I think Eze can, and that's like, yeah, again, another player, another option. It's just perfect.
When's he get his debut? He can't have his debut tomorrow. I think he's missed. Didn't he need to be signed on by 12, I think?
Yeah, so I think we were gonna rush to do it for tomorrow. Like, we were gonna do it all. I think it's all like, I do think he did his medical today. He did the media duties today. But I think in the end they kind of just felt like, actually, like I said, like, we had like 7 players out of the squad for the week, like for United, and like, obviously, like we said, if you think about Havertz coming out, Ben White might be injured, so maybe he's going to be out. I don't know what's going on with the Ben White situation. I haven't really kept up with that. But so Havertz is not going to be in the squad. I think Norgard's going to be an instant replacement for that. And then say if a Ben White isn't there, you probably add like a Nelson or a Zinni or someone like that. Like, maybe you add a Kivior, but if that deal is more gone than others, then maybe not. Anyway, so like, if that is the case, then he's not even he's gonna have to take someone's spot to come on the bench anyway. So maybe we just felt like, actually, if you're not we're not going to play you because you're not like, you've only just joined, you're not probably up to speed. We need to give it some time. So he's got to come on against Liverpool, right? I can't see him not. They're the sort of games that he thrives in as well. Like,
yeah,
I could see it easily coming on.
I'm looking now just at the injury news from the press conference. So Essentially, obviously, we know Kai Havertz seems to be out with a meniscus problem, cartilage, so possible, well, probably physio, then they'll look at keyhole surgery. But there is also questions regarding the fitness of Ben White and Christian Norgard, Jurriën Timber, and Gabriel Jesus, it says here, which is a bit odd. Because we know he's not around. Apparently, Christian Norgard will be out for another week or so as well. So I guess that's why he was missing. If I look as well,
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I've got here. So not in the match day squad for the United game was Norgard, Kivior, Zinchenko, Vieira, Hein, who's now left the club or leaving the club, Nelson, Lokonga, obviously, and Jesus, which is a mad list.
It's a
It's
lot.
basically our sales list. But
Do you know what we should do? If Norgard's not fit, if Ben White's not fit, let's say, like you could put Kivior. Kivior's my boy. I'd love to see Kivior, if he does leave, get some sort of farewell, because
yeah,
I won't forget his Bernabeu means something to me, his Bernabeu performance. I would never forget that
season. Even he was relatively decent. He had
and
one
also,
bad game, and then
he's one of the
out,
he's one of the only players that has been like, actually, yeah, I'll leave if you want me to. I don't mind. He's the only player that seems pretty comfortable and nice and being like honest with it. And I really hope he goes to Palace. Personally, he'd be incredible for Palace. Parish, go and get him right now. He'd be your best defender. I promise you. There is no team under in the bottom side of the Prem that has any sort of passer as good as him. Trust me, in defence, he is elite. I'm watching West Ham lose 5-1 over here. They could do with him. Where's Kivior at? Come on, get him in.
I West Ham. I think Graham Potter now has the second worst points ratio of all West Ham Premiership managers. I think maybe Avon Grant has got the worst. Like,
I think I can't lie.
I mean, one game is one game, but
this is not relevant. But I just think playing a 5 back in the Prem in 2025 is just like, you have to have a good attack. I just think if not, your defense is going to be a problem. Like against United, people talk about how good United played. I think they were better than us, but I mean, look, we had so many chances to just break, and we just couldn't do it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Jordan with a question: what do you guys think will be the biggest tactical change Arsenal will make this season? I guess personnel-wise, it's, I mean, kind of force changed. Gyökeres for Havertz. I think not force change is Calafiori for Miles. I think Calafiori will be used a lot more this season, simply because, and we've said it before, his ability to cause chaos and go on the overlap is far different from Miles. Miles is so good at controlling games, stepping into midfield. But for me, I think that's the biggest change, like personnel wise. Tactically, I guess it's, I mean, generalized. It's playing in transition and moving away from complete control and actually leaning into the chaos a little bit more than just saying, you know what, go forward, play. And that's evident in the transfers we've made. Like Madueke, Gyökeres, and EZE are 3 players who completely changed that philosophy for us. But what about you, mate? Biggest tactical change this year?
Yeah, I think it is broadly just going to be like playing more direct, being quicker. I think that is the sort of intention that I've got, and something we had to do. Like to this Prem, what are they calling the Prem now? Is it like they call it like it's like the link with the Bundesliga now, because we are the biggest transitional league ever. If anyone's watched this Chelsea game, by the way, they scored like 4 goals. Well, I mean, they scored 3 corners or something, but they scored like every goal has come from a counter attack and then a corner from it. So it's like, it's just what this league is at the end of the day, and we have to. Not like we don't have to use it as our number 1 attack, but it should be something we can at least do. And we are probably one of the worst teams in the league at counter-attacking. Not defensively.
Our numbers from turnovers. Like, you look at our pressing and then we just do nothing.
Nothing with it, yeah. And I do think people like Odegaard just fundamentally aren't someone that's great in them areas. Like, I don't think he's a counter-attacking guy. So this is why the problem is he's so important to our press. So if we could try, I think this year, the biggest change will be, I do think our pressing will be much more aggressive than last year. It's not really a change because that's something we did 3 years ago, and now we'll probably go back to it. But I think in terms of like Odegaard, his role, I think that'll be the biggest change. I feel like his role will change and I feel like as long as we can get some other players to learn the press in at least half the way he can and kind of like deal with the fact that he's not going to be there, then I think he won't play as much. Like I do think that.
Now. 5-1,
yeah.
Chelsea.
Well, I mean, honestly, they've scored 3 corner goals where the goalie's just missed the ball. It's kind of funny. You gotta laugh. And you know their goalkeeper is the guy that put a man of the match performance against us for Leicester last year. So, what's to turn up against us but not Chelsea? But yeah, like what I was going to say before, actually, I forgot. But what we should do for tomorrow's game is if Ben White is not fit and can't make the bench, Norgard's unfit as well, Kai Havertz is injured, that puts us let's say we've got 2 spaces free from last week. You can put Kivior in there if you want. I like Kivior. Doesn't really matter. Will he come on? Maybe we get an injury. Maybe you might have to. I'd probably put Kivior in just in case. Like if he's there, you might as well. Put Max Dowman on the bench. Like you might as well. What's the point of putting any of them other ones we're trying to sell?
Can he play yet?
Yeah.
Can he? I thought we had to wait.
I thought you had to be 15 at the start of the Premier League season. I think they do. I thought they did it by.
Is that how it works now?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think that's pretty because that's why he couldn't play last year because he was 40. I had this big conversation with my dad about this. And he was like, "Do you think they should change it? Is that outdated?" And I was like, "Not really." I was like, "It's super young anyway. Like, there's going to be rare occasions that it happens anyway." And like I'm pretty sure the same's in Barcelona, and I think Lamine Yamal did the same thing. So
yeah,
I think he can. I'm not like I haven't looked at it too much, but I'm pretty sure that is the rule. I don't think he can play in the Champions League. Yeah, like right. So you just can't play in the Champions League. So it's put on the bench. I know they won't. They won't do it. We'll put Nelson on the bench or something. But please put him on the bench. It'll be so good.
I would love that. Like especially if we are like 2 goals to the good, and you've got 10 minutes left. Put Max on. Like give him that time. Give him that give him that starlight, essentially that spotlight, and just go play, do your thing. Like he was incredible during preseason, and the ironic thing here is like I don't think really he's a right winger, like which is mad. He's got so many things that he can do. Yeah, put him in the squad. Why not?
Wow. Apparently Rodrigo's not been called up to the Brazil team. Wow. Maybe like I do want to say it's quickly because like Rodrigo thinks relevant, but like if anyone watched the Real Madrid game, they played Brahim Diaz as a right winger, and then they brought a Mastantuano for him, so it's that 18-year-old they bought, and then they bought Gonzalo Garcia, who no one even knew existed before the Club World Cup, up front instead. And I'm like, mate, and he's not in the Brazil team. He's not in the Brazil team. He's got to make a decision about his career. And ultimately, like, I think, not even just Arsenal, if it's Liverpool, whatever, but he has to try and leave. Like, I'm sorry. This is like, it's just crazy to me.
The problem is, right now, if I was a betting man, I would guess that Ego would be ahead. I could see them, like, shipping out Savinho and then getting him in, but...
Well, I don't think they're going to, like... Pep said no about Savinho, and usually what Pep says goes. So, like, maybe he changes his mind. But I mean, if Tottenham, if they go in for like 80 million euros, I also, by the way, this is a pet peeve, but why can't journalists or deals just be in one currency? I absolutely hate how. I hate when people report, oh, Tottenham are going in for a 70 million euro deal to Savinho. One, they're both English clubs, so it should be pounds. But two, like, I just think. Even as a reporter, I know they say that all the deals are done in different, like they're done in euros, so they report it in euros. But I don't like that. Just convert it and do it in pounds because
it's not hard to convert.
And also, this is where you get like the media, especially like Sky Sports and all these big media outlets. This is where they manipulate what people say, and then they're like, "Oh, Arsenal have spent 700 million euros, Liverpool have spent 400 million pounds." I hate that. Like, just make it clear and do everything in one fee. Like. And it's just a big pet peeve. Like, as someone who works in journalism, trying to work in journalism, like I just think it's an absolutely stupid thing, and I hate journalists that pretend they have to do that.
A current like thing, hasn't it? Liverpool's reporting has all been different to all the other clubs. And the other thing is like the add-ons. Like, please just make up your mind. Why have we always got our fee with the add-on like on top? And that's not said. So they'll say like Gyökeres is, I don't know, like 70 million. And I said, well, it's not. That's not what we've paid. Like it's initially this much and then this much on top. Like start doing that. It drives me nuts. Got to say as well, big up to Jay Gunner, mate. Hope you're well, bud. Hope you're all well. If you guys haven't seen Jay, go check out all his TikTok stuff. Big up, Jay. And Ryan is saying we have too many players now. 8 need to be left out of the bench.
It is crazy. We had such a thin squad. We bought 7 players and we've sold like no one. Like that is insane. Like that's like a third of the squad. Like we need to get some of these guys gone. Like
I mean, to be fair, when you're like looking at it and it's Lukonga and stuff, he is, I guess, Premiership like standard. He's not like elite Premiership, but he can play in the Premier League. He didn't have a bad time when he's played in the Premier League.
Yeah,
stuff,
well, he's great at Luton, but like, no one cares anymore. Like, this is the thing. Like, I think like the perception. I know that some of these players are on big wages. Like, I get that Nelson's on 100k. That's hard to shift. But Kivior's not on big wages. You know, Vieira's not on big wages. Like, these guys are better than some of these teams, the players that these teams are signing. Who are some of these like Fulham? Bear in mind, Fulham have bought no one. They've literally bought no one, and they haven't even bought Wolves. Bought no one. You can have Nelson for 10 mil. It'd be good for you. I don't get it. I don't get it. West Ham, like they've just lost 5-1, and like is what you guys said. Like, one of my good mates is a West Ham fan. I always talk to him, and he's like, they tried to get that Fernandes guy for 50 mil, and then they gave up. I was like, are they even going to sign anyone? Like their team is a mess. They're getting thrashed. They were awful last week. They got thrashed by Sunderland.
It was only a couple of seasons ago. Like they actually looked like they had their head screwed on. And don't get me wrong, they've had some interesting buys over the years, especially up front. Like, what was the Italian guy they got in?
They had Hernandez, and then they had
he was quite a big guy. I forgot what he's called now. Like I just don't know what has happened to them. Like Potter's gonna be the first manager sacked.
It's awful recruitment. No, I've never liked it. West Ham are the club in the league, in the Premier League. They signed 30-year-olds for 40 mil and go, that's a good deal. When they signed FOKLZ, I was the only person in my like scene of YouTube football content that was like, that's a crap signing. It's awful. He's 30 million pounds for a 31-year-old that doesn't run. I was like, no, I don't care how good he was for Dortmund. But look at the level we're at.
Scamacca. Thanks, Jay.
Well, it's funny you say about Scamacca, because Scamacca's like one of the only like ones I could be like, oh yeah, like Scamacca's got quality, but then they just didn't use him right. Like, my God.
And that's the thing. It's like, what are you doing? Like, there's no cohesion there at that club whatsoever.
I think Potter will be the first one sacked. Like, I mean, look, they just got thrashed by Chelsea. It wasn't close. They can't defend. By the way, they conceded 3 corners to Chelsea. Oh, can we play him soon? Well, it's got 20. I mean, we always score corners. Do you know what's so funny is that everyone always goes on about Arsenal being this corner team. We score the exact same corners against the exact same teams because they don't learn. You know, against United, West Ham, and Tottenham are the 3 teams that we just go, well, let's flood the box because their keeper's scared. We do it every time, but they never learn. They never learn that we just score.
It was really interesting the tactic Yeovil used, because I thought, how are we gonna do it with the new holding rules? Because we all know we're Arsenal fans. We see it for what it is. Like, and it's not me being like over the top. It's so obvious that we are like officiated in a different manner. We just are. Look at Miles getting a red card. Look at Saliba with a pull on the halfway line. Like, things like that just drive me insane. So I thought, how are we going to deal with this? Because Yeovil's got to just say, we can't do our normal thing of everyone on the far post. We ended up with what? It was Calafiori and Saliba on the keeper. Then it was 3 players on the penalty spot. Then 4 players on the edge of the box. And at the last minute, Gyökeres made a run around to the far post, like real deep. I think that's the new plan. But
We also
It's
used
so
Gabriel as a
interesting.
bait, didn't we? Like, that's the
Yeah,
thing. Gabriel's
yeah.
been our main header. We used him as a bait. He wasn't actually. We were never crossing the ball into him. He was just used to like take players away, and it worked. I mean, Rice's corners go straight in. To be fair, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, but the thing is, I always say this about like the holding rule, for instance, is a great example. Like in my eyes, if it's 50-50, it's fair. In the United goal, both teams are holding each other. Both players on loads of the pitch for both teams have each other. And in my opinion, that's not a foul. If someone goes to run past the player and they pull them down, they pull their shirt from behind, that's to me a pen. But that's not, they're not doing it with common sense, is it? Like the rules are in a way that they just put this situation up. Like we talk about the EZE free kick. That rule is in place, fair enough. How many people knew about that rule? Clearly not many, because the 12 goals last season that counted, the Reece James one, which is in the last minute at Chelsea Stadium,
Yep.
counted when the guy's in the wall. The Bruno one against us, but like there's so much. It's not even about Arsenal. It's just about the league and its inconsistencies and the problems with it. I do agree with Ryan in the chat who did say the Forest manager, because I don't know if you seen all the stuff about Forest. Oh my god! Like I'm not saying any names here, but I mean, I think we all know who might be talking about that. It's so funny. Oh, it's so funny
Next time he'll be behind your camera and you'll be going, "Yes, Mr. Marinakis."
when Forest signed Douglas Luiz like yesterday or today, I literally burst out laughing. I was like, "Oh, okay, of course they have. I wonder why. I wonder why they signed him."
It is
No wonder
mad, isn't
Nuno's annoyed. He's like, "Oh, I don't even want this guy." Ah, wow, he's our guy. You take him. Well,
it? Oh God. I mean, it's crazy. But by the way, hello as well to Tom. Nice to have you on, mate. I don't know how long you've been in for. Yeah, Ryan, deep down everyone loves to hate Arsenal. Like it was George Graham, wasn't it, who said, that's Arsenal. Like everyone hates us. Everyone hates us, but it is what it is. Let's kind of quickly go through then. So team for the Leeds match. Let's go for the lineup. David Raya in goal.
what did you think?
Separate.
I do say, what do you think about his performance against United?
Yeah, actually, should we quickly go through?
We could do it in this sense, yeah, with the player.
Yeah, I did a ratings with Yembele, and it's the first time in a long time that I've had to give like low ratings. The funny thing is, right? Pet peeve. So you said yours earlier about media and reporters and transfers, how they're reported. Mine is the fact that sometimes content creators cannot get their head round the fact that there are two sides of every story. So like the United game, there's this big thing. I keep seeing like people going like, "Oh, it's 3 points. Like that's what matters. It's 3 points." Da, da, da. And then other people going, "Yeah, but the performance was rubbish." Both can be true. Newsflash: we were rubbish. We were resilient, great, but we weren't good. Big picture, at the end of the season, the 3 points matter. Like both are true. Like I'm really happy that we held steadfast. We didn't concede any goals again. Cool, but there were huge problems with that performance. At the same time, people go, "Yeah, we've only won like 3 times out of 19 at Old Trafford." But then if you look at our last 6 games against United, home and away, I think we've won 5. We've drawn 1 in the Premier League. We obviously had the cup as well. I won't mention that one, but like both things are fine. Like it's mad. Like Ryan, exactly. Like 3 points, move on. Like at this point, like yeah, cool. And hopefully we'll address those things and we'll have a better performance against Leeds.
It's also the first game of the season, isn't it, as well? Like, I think that's where I kind of looked at it and went, well, if this happened in March, it'd be like, what are we doing? But I'm always going to be a little bit lenient on the first game of the season, especially now with we know about the outcomes. But yeah, like, what do you think about Raya specifically?
I think Raya had a good performance in terms of his. You know what? It was like opposite day for David Raya. Like he was terrible with his pass selection, ball at the feet. Like at times I was just like, what are you like genuinely, what are you doing? And then we wouldn't have got the 3 points without him. So all in all, I would guess if I was rating him, I'd give him like a 7 because the performance itself, he saved us points, but he just wasn't. He just was not good.
It's so funny though, isn't it? Like, see, like when I like. Maybe like because I've rewatched the game like so much and like I kind of had that emotion out of it that I could kind of look at things a little bit more without like the worry. I do think Raya's passing. I don't think it's been good for a while now. I think at the end of last season he struggled. It's more the central passes. He's never actually been that good of a central passer. He's a much better passer out wide. And he is sometimes like, I don't like this whole direct approach to Gyökeres. That isn't his fault though.
Is he getting too cocky?
He is a bit of one of them sort of guys. But what I will say with Raya, I kind of think his performance mirrored a little bit like Gabriel and Saliba. More Gabriel, maybe Saliba you could argue. Where like on the ball, there was a lot of problems there. Press it, like not press it, build up, like on the ball, trying to calm the team down with tempo. It was a real problem, like for all of them. But at the end of the day, when we sat back in the second half and we had to rely on them 3 players stepped up yet again, especially Gabriel and Raya. Like, Raya is one of these players that we all know as Arsenal fans, he's not perfect. His passing is sometimes quite loose. He's sometimes, a bit risky on the ball, like we say, like probably more than we'd want him to be. He's sometimes a little bit too high up the pitch and he can't recover. Like, there's these problems there. He's also, like, before we signed him...
That instruction, though, as well as
some of it, yeah. Some of it is instruction, I will say. And I will say as well, when we signed him, like, the idea that he was, like, when he came in, everyone was like, he's this passer, he's this long passer, but he's not a brilliant shot stopper. He's a good shot stopper, not brilliant. And I know we all, there's not some games he isn't the best shot stopper for us. He has been poor. But I'd say, like, since that Luton game, but for a while now, he is reliable. And I think, like, I think when we need it in the big games, Raya is there. And that's why, in my opinion, Raya is, like, not only is he like exactly what we need in terms of like his ability from catching crosses and his like how he is, but like he's exactly who we need in that role. Is he the perfect player in the world? No, but I feel I would struggle to find goalkeepers at a better level than him that we could get, and it would make sense. And I think when I look at all of that, I'm like, Raya is a guy that, like, Raya, Gabriel, Saliba, even if they're playing bad, they are reliable. They defend brilliantly. They are reliable. Ultimately, we are not a good attacking team and had to rely on these 3 players for over a year. It's been like 18 months of these 3 just carrying us in games. And even against that United game, there was a large part of it, specifically in the second half, where I just thought Gabriel just shut the game down. It was his first 90 minutes since March, and he completely just said no.
I was going to say that.
And in the first half, where he was a little bit like not as good, Raya's goalkeeping, like save-wise, was brilliant. We talk about them moments goalkeepers. Like, people go on and wax lyrical about Donnarumma. Donnarumma does that. He can't catch the ball that much. He's improved at it last year, but he's not a great passer. He's not a great distributor. He can't do any of that, but he's an incredible shot stopper. He won them the game against us nearly single-handedly, especially away at the Parc des Princes. So I look at that and I go, Raya, in my opinion, is very underrated. Like, I think last year he deserved his Golden Glove, and I think he was our bet. I think he was better than any of the defenders in front of him. I think he was incredible last year. And I looked at that game against United and went, okay, your passing needs to work on. I'm not happy with it. Perfect. Like I'm saying, like, we need to improve. But he is reliable, and like I at least trust him. And I think that's what we've needed for a keeper, because mentally as well, Raya is the perfect player for our club. If you've seen him in interviews, you've seen what he's like. Stuff gets to him and he just moves on. He just gets on with it. He's a calm player. And I think in terms of like Saliba, sometimes the nerves get to him, and they still do. They still get to him sometimes. Raya's the perfect player to calm him down. Raya's the perfect player to calm a Miles down in left back, as well as a Gabriel. And that is what you want. You want a calm defence. Unfortunately to Ramsdale, I think their mental factors were the reasons he's not at the club, not because of his shot stopping or any of that. So
what was the quote he said? Like, I forget that I'm playing football and I start
that I can't focus for like a game, and like I have to look at pigeons and stuff.
I mean, fair play. Like, I get it. I reckon he's probably got ADHD or something. And,
oh yeah, I think so. Yeah,
and he probably needs, these big things, adrenaline things, to kind of help calm him. But you just don't come out and say that. You just don't come out and say that. It's bonkers. It's interesting actually because he probably is. Like Jay said here, don't think you can improve on Raya unless you get Allison. And for our system, pretty much perfect. Like his cross claiming is unbelievable.
Like he's not the
Um,
perfect footballer in the world, but like I see. So I think out of every out of the Arsenal, let's say I know Arsenal don't have a starting 11, but I think he's the most disrespected player within our like 11 that has been consistently good. Like yes, there's problems there. He's not brilliant all the time, but like I see him make one mistake every 20 games, and that gets highlighted. You know, remember that penalty where he like jumped a bit early? I was getting DMs being like, "Oh, yeah," and I was like, "He has saved loads of pens for Arsenal. The Portos, you know, the West Ham penalty, and then he went and saved the PSG pen." I was like, "This guy's actually a
and there's
good
certain
penalty save."
keepers out there that I can't remember what the term is, but there's like reactionary goalkeepers, and then there's like premeditated, essentially goalkeepers for spot kicks. And he's one of those, isn't he? That he will make a decision and just go.
And he has to
He's not
because
reacting.
like he's tiny. Like as a keeper, he's taller than me,
Yeah,
but he has to. He can't dilly dally because he is 6 foot. And it's funny because I speak to United fans, and I remember last year talking to United fans about Onana, and they kept going to me, "Oh, you know, there's some goals that we can see is because of his height," and I was like. It's just not a problem. He's 3 inches taller than Raya, and Raya's absolutely fine. He's won Golden Glove 2 years in a row. Like we'd have never had an issue with Raya's height. Like maybe sometimes, but even from corners, we talk about Raya's height. You know, there's players. Saliba's taller than them. Gabriel's taller than them. He's still there, catches all the crosses. Like
oh,
I just want to say, like Raya isn't perfect, but I wanted to give some appreciation because I think in these big games
I,
he deserves it. And like Raya's great, man. Like long-term goalkeeper, we finally got one. I'm perfectly happy with Raya.
yeah, I'm just gutted that we couldn't get Garcia as like a successor because I think he would be pretty much perfect. But it seems like the Kepa deal was like the right one because at the end of this transfer window, even if we don't get in a left winger, I think we've now got like a clear succession period for our transfer windows. We can actually go in for big players. You know, like you look at say City getting Haaland, or I'm trying to think of others like Real Madrid getting Mbappe. Like they waited specifically, and they're like, we know who we want. We don't need to go out because we're in a really good place in the squad. We're at that position now where we can actually wait and go right. Next summer, like if we don't get a left winger in, we can go and get a Rodrigo, or we can go big and get a Barcola. That's fine. Liverpool have done it this year. They've obviously waited. They've pulled the trigger on Verts, and they look like they want to do it with Isaac as well. So you've got to be in a good position for that. And I guess like the DM, we said it before about getting like a Gume in or a Buadi in or someone like that, someone a bit younger, but now it gives us that little bit of time to wait and go do it. And it'll be, I guess Miles, maybe we don't need to do that because Miles can go that position and then you go get a left back instead. So, yeah, exactly, mate. We've plugged the holes now and we can go in for those certain profiles.
It's just that's how you build a squad, isn't it? Like, you know, we talk about this year. I'm saying to you that I think Liverpool's like buying defenders is a risk of them not like even if they get a Gueye in, it's a risk. But in their rise, there is not going to be another time to buy the attackers on the market, such as an Ekatike, such as an Isak. So they'll think about the DMs. They've been trying to get a DM for 3 years. Bear in mind, they bought Endo as a stopgap, and he's still there on the backup. But they've just gone like, well, we've got Gravenberch, we've got McAllister, we've got Sobasai going to play in that double pivot, 2 of the 3. We'll figure it out. Like, it's not the perfect solution right now, but next year, when there's maybe more options on the market, such as a Baleba, such as a Wharton, then they'll look at them and go, oh, okay. Because
they don't get one of those.
I mean, I would imagine that they surely are probably going to get like a Wharton. I mean, unless like Man United, this is what I've been saying to people. If Man United is smart, they buy an Agume now, who's super young. It depends on the money. I know, like have they got money next year? But going into next year, if they can't get Baleba right now, when Brighton are willing to sell him next year, they should do what we do with Zubimendi and talk to him now and be like, oh, do you want to agree a deal next year? And if they've got that initial contact, they'll be able to get him over other teams. Like they should do that. Like for us, I don't know what we're gonna do in the DM market in that sense. I actually made a short for the transfer flow about Buadi when they were speaking about Buadi. And I was like, I want to do one about this guy. And what they said about him was very interesting. Well, what they said about him was very interesting. Like, I think he isn't a DM. He is more of an 8. So like, if we wanted him for maybe that, but that's what I mean. Like, we bought Norgard in as a stopgap, then we can go and get other players. So it's fine. Like, isn't that's how you build a squad, isn't it? So that's fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, and like look at Liverpool, and I know some people are saying, well, why would you get Isak? And but like he is not positionally, but he is the successor for Salah. Salah cannot keep going forever. Like I know, like his record seems to suggest that he will keep going forever, but he can't. So you got to eventually do that, and I think we've made that mistake in the past where we like, look at the Invincibles. We were broken up. I think within 2 years, we pretty much lost everyone from that team, which is just bonkers. Like that team was torn apart, and we can't do that. You've got to be able to go right. We're logically going to be in the right positions. Right, let's carry on then with the lineup because we've gone off on a tangent. And we are 1 hour 40 minutes. It's been a long one again, mate. It's always a long one, let's be honest, isn't it? Left back, would you go Calafiori again? For me, I would.
In a game like this, even more than because we spoke about it before the United game. We had this whole conversation about like which one should play, and I said Calafiori, and then he did play, and I was happy. I think he played well, so yes, reward him.
Yep. Yeah, I guess for me as well, he was one of the best performers last week. He's one of the few players that keep him head held high.
And against a low block, you have to have him as well. Yeah. Like you just have to.
Centre back pairing is obvious, so we'll go with Salmon and Saliba. Sorted. Yeah, Gabriel and Saliba. Right back, Ben White again.
It depends purely on fitness. Like, if White
put Timber in anyway. Although, to be fair, against Leeds, if he was fit, maybe Ben White is the right choice there. But
I think Ben White probably is the right choice, but I don't know if we'll risk him if he's not fit, especially with Liverpool coming up. I do think and I also think Timber was. I don't hate us playing Mascara there. Like, I just don't. Like, Mascara could ease. I think Mascara is a little bit of a.
Good in pre-season when he played there.
I also think he's a bit of the middleman between a Timber and a White. I think he does a little bit of what they both do. And in this sort of game, if you want to risk Timber for a sort of Liverpool, if you don't want to risk him, then I'd play Mascara there. I don't know if Ben White's fit, then he'll probably just play Ben White, but I don't know about that. So
yeah, fair enough. Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard.
Yeah, hopefully no sickness. Hopefully no sickness this week. Yeah, get well.
Rice kind of gets his act together because
I've
not seen him perform like that. I know he takes a while usually in a season to get going, but he just didn't look right. And then he was taken off. So I presume, if he's not fit, Marino in the left 8. I don't hate it considering his work was Zubimendi, but
EZE, where is he?
Don't really know any other options. Out on the right, Bukayo Saka. Or are you going to play him on the left?
At least to start, you put him on the right. But if you do put Madueke in left wing, they can easily just switch. Like, they don't need to be set to one. But he's probably going to give Martinelli another go. You would have to imagine. Trossard's fit, not only just come out from injury. Like, Madueke still not understanding the pressing roles and like that sort of style. I think Martinelli probably starts again. He'll probably give him another go.
Yeah, personally, I'm just at the point where I just Trossard or Nelson right now. Like, I think Nelson's linked with another loan, isn't he, to Fulham again?
Yeah, look, I think that will happen. I don't think he'll be in the squad.
But the one thing I like about him, he will take a man on. And I just, Martinelli, sometimes, when he starts a one-on-one run, he looks defeated before he even, do you know what I mean? Like, he almost looks like, oh my God, have you watched the training?
I don't think so, actually.
So if you go on the clips of the training at the Emirates, because it's been at the Emirates this time, hasn't it? Martinelli picks the ball up, and I know it's a small pitch. It's probably like 5-7 aside with the floating players, but he essentially just runs directly at into all the congestion And I was like, what on earth are you doing, Martinelli? And he's never, I don't know what is going through his head at this point. And then obviously loses the ball at that moment. And I thought, God, that is Martinelli this past, 18 months. It was
Oh,
just
it's
so
just
bad.
the thing is with him,
So
it's super frustrating at this point. Like, I'm like a very like I don't really say much like in terms of being uber negative about players. But I feel like when I listen to like the Canada podcast and stuff, they still give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. I'm so done with that. Like I'm so done with doing that. I've done it. It's been too long. I have been making videos for 2 years, and I've made 3 videos about him, which I think tells you how good he's been. And I remember I've made 3 videos. Every time I get clips from him, I'm like, oh, I've got none because I never speak about him because he's just never good. Like, and I do videos purely on based on like performances after games. That's how good he's been. 3 games. I think one of them's negative, and I'm like looking at. I spoke about him yesterday a little bit in my EZE video, but like it's like he only goes on the outside because when he goes on the inside he's scared, but he prefers to be on the inside.
like
Hey,
he's
it's
a
not
prime example of a player that shouldn't run with the ball. He should run onto the ball.
I honestly I think you put him up front as a backup striker, and that's where when EZE comes in, I think that should be his role. I think you move Chosler to a left winger.
Give him time to think.
Yeah,
Just
he's like Morata. I remember every time you give Morata like 4 months to shoot, he just misses it. But then you give him no time and just smash balls in. You're like, I think if we got an 80 mil offer from Saudi, which Saudi teams are lurking for him, would you take that?
My problem is the long-term effect of these sales to Saudi and how it pushes the market up, and wages. But right now, it's like, please just get over the line. So as much as like the football purist in me is like, it's probably not a good idea. Just have to do it. Like we're not going to get that much money for him again, regardless of his peak from anywhere else. So you'd have to get rid of him.
It's so
I
good,
think if you got, say, what did you say, 80?
Yeah, let's say like 70 mil. That's like the reported fee.
Say it was 70 mil. You can at least that gets you conversation started with certain other left wingers.
You could talk to Semenyo. Then.
Mate, I would take him in a heartbeat. And another player that can play.
It's just one of them things where it's like I'm glad you like kind of like thought about it, because I think when people get frustrated, and it is easy to say this, like I would 70 mil for Martinez is a lot of money, and like you would take that, but I think like where like you said, like people need to realize like in terms of like the structure of the club and the team, he is our like kid. We've been looking after him for a while. I know they have very fond like things of him, and it's like it's the whole United thing. If some player has a bad 1 year and he's an insane youngster, do you just want to give up on that complete talent because you couldn't make it work in that 1 year? And well, McTominay's good, but even Garnacho is a good example. I know like that is because of like different reasons, and there's been a clear disconnect there. But Garnacho is a talent, and now they're talking about getting him rid of him 30 mil to Chelsea. Like in my eyes, you just keep I would just play him instead of getting rid of him. I mean, it doesn't help that Man United don't play wingers, and he is a winger. That doesn't help.
Yeah.
But like that's one of the things where you look at it's like if we get rid of Amarin, and we bring in another manager, which is a high likely thing for United to consider in the next year, let's say, because they always do.
Most likely is they're going to play wingers.
Yeah, and they're more likely going to play wingers. They're going to probably want a Rashford or Garnacho in there. People like Anthony, for the money they spent fair, like I would probably give up as well. But I just think with these talents that you've like been there for so long, is there a point of giving up? And I think with Martinelli, I kind of have that perspective. Like I like 70 or 80 mil in my eyes is like you can't say no to. Like you said, where the market is at, where our ability to sell anyway is just poor. And that will just help us probably buy Rodrigo, probably buy a Garnacho, probably buy Semenyo. We could have conversations. We could have conversations with Leao then, maybe if that was happen. We know we have the money.
And their financial problems.
Yeah, and the FFP as well, like, would be solved. Because I know that's a slight issue for us as well. So, like, with that, you have to consider
it's
it.
Almost pure profit with Martinelli.
Yeah, I wonder if I like, because he was here before at 21, so I don't know if, I'm sure he would. I think he would count as, and it's like one of them things where it's like 45, 40 mil, in my eyes, you don't sell Martinelli, even though it's a lot of money, because it's just like, I still think even he had another awful year, he'd still be worth 50 mil. Probably you could still get 50 mil from a Saudi team next year
Yeah.
if
You
he
look at
did
the
the
other players like
relatively the same
Elanga
as what he's
going,
doing. But I just think like you get 78, you have to accept it. But if it's less than that, I would be like wary because it's like you do think about the future. He is super young. Like Trossard's gonna leave in 2 years' time when his contract ends. So what left wingers do we have at the club? I know that means we have to sign some, but who do we have? Like we have EZE, who's like not a left winger but is kind of there, and that's it. Like Madueke, right winger, really. So it's like,
yeah, no.
and you look at like people keep saying like, oh, what does this like? Where does Dalman fit into this equation? When Eze's contract ends, Dalman is 20 years old. Dalman is 15. Even when Yeri is 18 years old. Like when Eze's contract ends, he's 23. He's Saka's age or younger. Like there's so long for these guys to get into the team. They've got ages and they're on the right as well. So I don't know. I think this Martinelli thing might. I mean, if Saudi teams do go in for that money, it'd be so interesting to see what our stance is because Arsenal have been like, there's been so many reports about Arsenal not wanting to sell him, but surely for that 70 mil, we consider it.
Sell him and then not reinvest it.
Yeah,
that would be the problem. Like if you let him go and then don't go and bring in like say Semenyo, cool. I actually think that'd be a really, really sensible buy. He's just had a contract extension, so the chance of that happening. But another player who's an Arsenal fan, it would be mad. Like you look at the amount of like players who have got like experience from the Premier League and stuff. That would be
the big problem is as well. Like, I mean, Brian says it in the thing. Like we still need to sell players for the squad. So even if we sell Martinelli, we want a replacement in, but then that doesn't solve that issue. So we're still gonna have to get rid of all the others as well. There's a lot more moving parts, I think. I'm so interested to see what sells. I think most of them will be loans. I do think we're not going to be able to get deals. If it's a loan with an obligation, that is absolutely fine because we need to raise capital by next summer, and that will just guarantee us to raise it. So a loan for Kivior for a £30 million deal to Porto, that's 30 mil next year. We can take that. 7 mil for Nelson or whatever. Like we could take that. And then we could make about 40 to 50 mil.
We should be getting more than that. Knowing Arsenal, so like my Arsenal hat on, I go 25 million for Kivior because I think that's what do we buy him for 20, 25?
22 is about there.
Okay, so I'd go right 25 mil. Cool. We've had good use out of him, and we haven't got a loss, and then we've got 25 mil. Without my Arsenal hat on, I would be going, hang on a minute. You're a top 2 club in the country. You're in the semi-finals of the Champions League. This is a guy that had shut-out performances against Real Madrid and stuff. What on earth are you doing selling him for that little? Like, you should really be like 35, 40 upwards. Because just look at the market. And again, he's always available. Always. He's like one of our most dependable players in terms of always fit, always happy to do a job. Doesn't matter what position. He'll come in right centre back, left back, cool, whatever. And he'd actually, like you say, like Crystal Palace, he'd suit loads of teams.
The market is just weird though. I do think the problem is with players like him is that teams outside of Europe are very unlikely to talk to Premier League teams and these sort of players. Yeah. One, because of their wages. Two, because of how hard it is to deal with some of these clubs. Because, sometimes in the Serie A, if you go to bottom league teams, you can bully them. Like teams in England, no matter at any level in the Prem, you can't bully. And I think with Kivior, I've heard that Inter Milan are looking at Ribeiro, who I spoke about for Arsenal, and he's going to cost 20 mil. And you think about 20 mil for Ribeiro, and then you think about 40, double that for Kivior. Kivior's 25. He is not old, but he's not super young, like a Kwanzaa who's 22, 21. So you're rather get that experience there. So he's just one of the middlemen age. And the people that should be going in for him is Prem teams. Prem teams wouldn't. How many Prem teams are going to get a left-footed centre back? I mean, a left-footed centre back, that's an insane passer, would be elite. Like West Ham, I look at in their back three, he'd be great in that left-hand side. Palace have spoke to him, and I think if that is a deal, that deal could be happening. I don't actually know. I thought they bought in a guy, but I don't know if he's a centre-back or not. But yeah, Bournemouth is another one he could be great for. These teams are they probably want younger players. They probably want, in some ways, cheaper options. But they always could be a deal there. I hope he goes to Palace. But like with Vieira
I
and
mean,
stuff, like surely, like I know Stuttgart are probably going to get Vieira on like a loan. Hopefully, it's an obligation in there. But look, Vieira is going to cook in the Bundesliga. Like you give him on the space, it'll be fine. Like I can see why teams are a bit wary to spend 20, 25 mil. These teams outside of England aren't that rich compared to us, so it is kind of like that problem. So I don't know. Hopefully, something can sort out. I get why teams aren't going in for them, but I do think they are underrated as well. Like I think some of these players are getting disrespected.
Oh yeah, massively. I also want to say, evening Stick. I didn't know you were in the comments, mate. Nice to have you back as well. It's so nice having like Ryan, Tom, Stig, Jay on tonight. It's all the crews here. It's so nice.
We play West Ham October the 4th, everyone. So 7 games time. So that is when we could corner strat. Will Potter be in a job by then?
We should do that. We should do a set piece episode.
Wait, I don't even know if... I just realised that we play Forest, don't we, in like 4 weeks' time? It's like after the international break. I wonder if Nuno's going to be... It might be Ange, though. We might be playing against Ange. Because Ange is like the guy who's like friends with the owner. Like, oh, that's... I mean, I would be less worried if they had Ange at the moment.
Edu and Ange.
I know. And Vinny at Tottenham. Oh, God.
Yeah, no, the whole merry-go-round, it's weird, isn't it? But the window does close. Oh, I can't get my words out. The window closes 1 week Monday at 7 p.m.
It's crazy. Oh, my God. It's been such a long window, but we actually...
do you know what? We could try to do a little live stream at the end of it.
We're transfer deadline day. I'll go outside the Emirates. I get a camera. Just
I'm staying here, mate. I am not traveling for like 7 hours for us not to sign anyone. Like, I'm afraid so.
No, Rodrigo on deadline day. We will be there. Fabio Vieira get a load away. We will be there.
Could you imagine that? Like, send you over there last minute. Yeah, Rodrigo's there. What the Isaac last minute?
Wow,
another heist taken away from Liverpool.
In my striker search, he was in. Oh, by the way, I did a striker search on stream, and some of the ideas that we came up with, I was like, yeah, I'm glad we're not going for a striker.
Yeah, some horror stories, aren't there, mate? Mate, prediction before we finish up for the Leeds game?
3-0. I was going to say 2-0, but let's be confident.
I am going to go with, I think 2-0. I think maybe we get one round to half-time and then one right near the end of the game where it's been a bit like, what's going to happen?
I wonder if Leeds will play Okafor because they just signed him. So I wonder if he'll play. Yeah, a player that is like barely played any football in like 3 years. So that'd be fun. At least he's actually going to start for once. I just give me so fun to see Daniel Fark. That guy, man, like it's just like how is this guy finds ways to get into the Premier League. You keep trying to get him out of it. He'll find a way to cut. He'll find a way
back.
This is the best team he's ever had in the Prem. So
true, that is true.
Got to try.
Mate, thank you so much. Like, what's it been? I don't know. It doesn't say it now.
Almost 2 hours.
Been 2 hours.
Yeah, almost.
Oh yeah, 1 hour 57. Guys, before we do finish, actually, those of you still watching, I know there's some of you lurking about still. Can you just quickly tell us what the production has been like from this side? Because we have completely changed tonight. I think the intro was a little bit odd. I think it had a bit of a hiccup on its way. Hopefully that's just a one-off. But does it look a little bit better than usual? It's been far easier for me. I know, Reese, you can actually see everything this time.
Well, it's fun. We didn't even have any slides or anything. Yeah. We just spoke about. I mean, it's easier as like EZE, but like I don't know. It's been a big news week, I guess, in terms of Arsenal. So
yeah, man,
it's roller coaster.
I'll have some shorts out this week as well from the pod. It's looking sweet. Oh, thanks, Ryan. I appreciate it, mate. Oh, we got 5 players to sell. Yeah, we probably do, to be fair. Yeah, more shorts coming out. I think I might be doing a little bit more content with Yembele as well. I've got a wicked idea as well, Reese, for an episode coming up. We'll leave it a couple of weeks, but I'll talk to you about it after. Tell everyone, mate, where can they find you?
Yep, FOKLZ Football, FOKLZ YT on Twitter. You know, I'm 3 followers off 400. So if you want to get me to 400 followers on Twitter, that'd be great.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm just going to start each day just putting like hashtag follow Wockles or something.
Oh, no.
Wockles.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, I've been like plugging it on my videos so finally. Like, you just be like, I bring up my own tweets in my videos. Smart.
I mean, Ryan, don't feel like he needs encouragement to keep going. Because how many subscribers are you on your YouTube channel?
I hit
mate?
65k today. Woo. Woo.
Meanwhile, what am I on? Am I on like 500? And I mean, I made the 500 mark. I am happy about that. That was a good. That's, you know, every step. I've just got to step up my actual content. 514. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, we're cheers, Stig. Pass as always. Like as are you boys. We will. This pod is going to go strength to strength. I know it will. If you haven't already, though, do make sure you hit the like button. It does help with the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button. It is free to subscribe to the channel. And we are here every Friday, 8:30 live, chatting about Arsenal, chatting about the general football situation, and answering your questions. Until then, though, I will leave you with Reese and some kind words. Go for it, Reese. Some words of get some motivational words before we finish up.
We signed. Did you know that we weren't going to sign EZE, but EZE waited for us, and then it ended up happening because he waited ages for it to happen, and he made this prophecy years ago, and he got it to happen in the end. So maybe sometimes things are meant to happen. Thank you all.
That's it.